Venvi Art Gallery is pleased to present our newest installment of our Artist Talk series featuring Debbie Bzdyl with her solo exhibit With Each New Day. On display from November 3rd to January 14th, this exhibition radiates a sense of calm as well as a sense of wonder for moments of peaceful solitude as we look up into the morning sky to a sense of awe at the power of crashing waves along the shore. Every moment reminds us that each new day holds the promise of new beginnings and the opportunity to bring hope and beauty into the world. Hello, Debbie. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Angelica, very nice to see you again.
You as well. So jumping into your interview, the title of your show is With Each New Day. Can you share some insight on the title of the show and how it relates to the work you included in this exhibition?
Well, I chose With Each New Day because I wanted to convey the feeling that with each new day, we have opportunities to begin again, to learn, to notice the beauty in the world. And a lot of my paintings relate to mornings and relate to the beauty of nature. So that's kind of, that name just seemed to fit with, the whole idea behind many of my paintings.
Yeah, I agree. I think it really does fit well. Walking into the gallery, it's a very nice feeling every day I come in. So
That's nice to say.
With the title of your show, you also share how you go about titling each individual work and how you get titles that fit so nicely with what's on the canvas.
Well, I usually paint in a series. So sometimes my paintings are driven by a title, like with my Gods and Goddesses painting. I wanted to do Zephyrus, or I wanted to do Artemis. And so I knew I needed to create a certain feel for those. So in that case, the title came first.
Yeah.
And then when I started my series that kind of worked on with the idea of mornings, I kind of had that morning atmospheric breaking of a new day thing that came in. But sometimes those paintings turned into something else. So a lot of times my paintings are come from a title. Sometimes I have a working title, but then right in the middle of it, the painting wants to be something else. So I just start working with what's on the canvas and reacting to that. And sometimes I just do whatever, and then I sit back and look at it and say, how does this make me feel? And so I have, I know the underlying feeling that I want in a piece, but sometimes it takes a while to really nail down in just 2 or 3 words what that painting means to me. But there's always a very specific feeling that I'm trying to put down on the canvas that doesn't always translate easily into words. That's sometimes the hardest part of my painting. What am I going to name this?
I'm similar. Naming is kind of tricky for me too, but that's such a nice way of working, to be able to just really let the canvas speak to you and move about.
And that's when they're the most successful, is when I don't try to force something.
Yeah, you just let it come out naturally. Oh, very cool. So would you be able to share your process with us and how you get that inspiration of that feeling and then translating it onto the canvas? Maybe technical things you do?
Well, I usually start out with just, very bold strokes, some markings, and react to what's there and just kind of build on it. And after a while, things begin to take shape, and I just have to go with that. But it almost always just starts with mark making and just some bold splashes of paint that start suggesting a composition. And then I just do whatever feels right at the moment.
Oh, how nice. So with your compositions, and these bold strokes, and then these movements of lighter colors and paint, we see these repeating elements of those like split canvases and sharp lines of light and color, while simultaneously having these really softly blended, ethereal, cloud-like elements throughout these really distinct colors. So how did this visual come about, and can you share why you're so drawn to it?
I've always been fascinated with the feeling of light and movement.
Mm-hmm.
Almost all of my paintings have this flow to
Yes,
them.
definitely.
I saw this technique of the hard lines done by another artist, and I was just intrigued by how that artist used those lines. And I thought this would be perfect for my morning series with my Each New Day series, because it was like little slices of time as you progress from the darkness of night, and as the mornings come in and the dark dissipates, those lines kind of visually show that feeling.
Yeah.
And so it's like trying to show a progression, a timeline within those paintings. That's one thing that really drew me to that. And two, I just like the juxtaposition of those soft ethereal shapes with the straight harsh line. It's like a blend of order and chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You need a little chaos, you need a little unpredictability, but you also need the order. And when you put those together, it achieves a balance that is very, very pleasing to me.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. When I first saw your work in the gallery, I was like, wow, the combination of the two were really something that just, it sits so right with me. It just felt so nice and so right. I was like, oh, this is really good. This is really great.
Thank you.
All of them together is just makes such an impact as well. Very, very lovely show.
Thank you.
So, like that artist, you saw their techniques. Do you get inspiration from maybe elsewhere, maybe other sorts of media, um, books, music, something like that?
Well, a lot of times I base a lot of my work on old legends
Okay.
or Greek mythology.
Mhm.
My whole series of gods and goddesses, yes, like right behind you, was based on just my fascination with Greek mythology and the way the Greeks used those myths and those stories to help explain their world.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to explain it any other way, because the science we have today wasn't there then.
Mhm.
But that made them feel like they had an understanding, that there was something that helped them understand why certain things happen.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just, I love the stories. One of them, the Dance of the Water Sprites,
Mhm.
is from an old Irish legend. And I just, I that just fascinates me. So that's where a lot of my stuff comes from. But sometimes it's just trying to depict a feeling.
Yeah.
Well, I get this idea in my head, and I want to explore that and try to put those feelings on canvas, try to interpret that emotion and put it on canvas. So that's really where most of my inspiration comes from.
Yeah. Wow. Oof. You must have a great understanding of your feelings to be able to successfully do that.
Well, maybe what it is, I'm trying to achieve a greater understanding of my feelings.
Definitely a great way to go about life. Yeah. Wow. Nice. Go about life. Yeah. Wow. Nice. And the dance of water spirits, when you look at it, you really get that energetic movement and that like freedom of expression. Um, Looking at them close up, It's so lovely to be able to like
The,
picture.
the little the sprites were kind of like fairies.
Yeah.
It's so you think of them as almost like the little sparks of light and these little
Mhm.
sparks of movement. So that was very fun for me to do.
Oh, how nice. I'm sure. Oh, and in the show, we also see a newer body of work with a bit more representational elements, such as flowers and corals, still holding the abstracted backgrounds and environments. But what brought this transition about and moved you to this new direction?
Well, I had worked with the palette knife and the straight lines, and I had done that for a couple of years. And after
Mhm.
a while, it kind of came to its natural end. That I'd kind of explored that as much as I wanted to in that moment. So I wanted to pick up my paintbrushes and put down the palette knives for a while and just explore those softer, uh,
Mhm.
that softer look, which kind of interpreted into more floral or leafy, nature inspired abstracts,
Yeah.
which is just a nice change because I'm always following my curiosity.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what precipitated that change. But doesn't mean I won't go back to the palette knife and those straight lines. It just depends on what inspires me at the moment.
Yeah. And we see like an overlapping as well, even with the more representational things. Like the choral pieces are called Neptune's Garden, so that kind of ties in with your gods and goddesses and the lore and all the mythical things. So it is a very nice transition that still keeps everything really concise and cohesive.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite of the representational works has to be Do Kissed Mornings.
Morning, yes. Yeah.
So lovely. The brushstrokes are so nice. Truly a fave in the gallery of mine.
Again, working with that sense of light because I'm still using the lines, but a little more of a floral look rather than just sweeping cloud-like looks. But
Yeah.
I'm attracted to that sense of light
Mhm.
and that sense of depth that you can achieve with the high contrast. That really appeals to me.
Definitely. Yeah, seeing the light peeking through the flower petals, or we also have some other works with waterfalls that have a beautiful depiction of light, and like the corporation of the light and the mist of the waterfall. Very, very gorgeous use of light and color.
Thank you.
Definitely come by the gallery if you have not yet to see these works in person. Pictures do not do them justice, but to also see the texture in these works, because a lot of them, because of the palette knife, have that raised texture, and you even included some mixed media pieces in the show. So, if we continue talking about your curiosity and exploration, how was incorporating these mixed media elements and other sculptural pieces into your paintings? And do you?
Again, just thanks to social media, you're
Mhm.
exposed to so many wonderful artists,
Yeah.
and you see something and I say, oh, that is just beautiful. I've got to see what I can do with that.
Mhm.
Led to my what I call my sculptural abstracts, where the entire design is built up um, with a molding material,
Uh-huh.
and so the design basically is done white on white. And
Oh,
then I add washes and a lot of times metallics and start incorporating paint to deepen that look of 3D. It almost comes out looking like a relief carving or like metal.
hmm,
So
definitely.
that was again just you see something that intrigues you and you just go for it and see where it takes you. It will never be my core um, practice,
Mhm.
but it was nice to explore, and I may go back to it from time to time. But it was a lot of fun to work with the molding paste and just see what I could do with it.
Yeah. Super cool. And it's a nice little thing that if you ever wanted to, now you have the knowledge and experience to add it to any other works in the future, even if it doesn't take up.
It's been a very popular
Oh,
series.
great.
So I may go back to it again, or just see what happens.
Oh, awesome. So when encountering your work and all the different elements that each piece has, what do you hope for viewers to take away after this encounter?
I think my basic message for not only this show, but just my basic message with most of my paintings is stop and notice the beauty in the world.
Mhm.
You know, we're bombarded with so much negativity. We see so much that brings us down and makes us anxious and causes stress. Sometimes you just need to take a breath and turn away from that and look at the beauty in the world. I have one piece that a smaller piece that's in the show called Little Miracles, and it looks like these beautiful, delicate little wispy flowers sort of moving in the breeze. And you know that those little flowers, those are little miracles. Take the time to see that. Take the time to see the simple, beautiful things in the world. And I think that's one way that I try to live,
Hmm.
and it keeps me sane.
Yeah,
Sort of.
the
So
little things, the little things.
exactly, just you know, I have one piece in the show that's called Sanctuary,
Yes.
and it looks like a mountain, a little bit like a mountain stream.
Mhm.
And to me, there's nothing more beautiful and relaxing than sitting by a mountain stream and just listening. And I needed to paint that. I needed to paint that feeling of that being a sanctuary and a quiet place and a place to get away from stress.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I hope people will take away from when they come to see the show, that they'll see the beauty in the world.
Oh, that's lovely. I hope so as well. And I think I think it's you got it. A good amount of visitors have already commented on how lovely it is and how nice they feel upon leaving the gallery. So
It's
yeah.
wonderful. That's wonderful.
Well, thank you again for joining us and for having this artist talk with us, as well as gracing our gallery walls with your paintings. Be sure to visit Venvi Gallery if you have not already to see Debbie Bzdyl's solo exhibit with each new day. All the works shown and discussed throughout this video are available for purchase both in the gallery and online at www.venviartgallery.com. Thank you again, Debbie.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye.